There was a young woman named Amina who lived in a modern city where dating apps promised to find your perfect match with a simple swipe, where people met in coffee shops and nightclubs, where the search for love had become a transaction measured in profile pictures and witty messages. Amina was 27 years old, worked as an architect, and had spent the last 5 years searching for her life partner in all the conventional places. She had tried everything. She attended wedding after wedding, hoping to meet someone appropriate among the guests. She accepted setups from well-meaning aunties who knew the perfect boy for her. She even reluctantly joined a Muslim matrimonial app at her sister's insistence, though something about reducing marriage to a shopping experience made her deeply uncomfortable. Yet despite all of these efforts, nothing ever felt right. Every potential match seemed fine on paper, but lacking in some essential quality she couldn't quite name. Amina's mother would ask her constantly what she was waiting for, what standards she could possibly have that these good men from respectable families didn't meet. Amina couldn't explain it even to herself. She just knew deep in her heart that none of these men were meant to be her life partner. But she was getting tired of searching, tired of hoping, tired of feeling like something was wrong with her for not settling. One evening, after another disappointing meeting with another perfect match who spent the entire time talking about his car and his salary, Amina came home frustrated and exhausted. She sat on her prayer mat after the Isha prayer and poured her heart out to God. "I don't understand," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "Everyone tells me where I should look, how I should search, what I should prioritize, but nothing feels right. I'm so tired of this process. If you have someone meant for me, why is it so difficult? Why can't I just know where to find them?" In the quiet of that moment, with no voice or vision but just a deep inner knowing, Amina felt as though God was whispering back to her heart. "You won't find your life partner at any of the places you've been searching. You'll meet them at the place where you meet me." Amina opened her eyes, startled by the clarity of this thought. What did that mean? She met God in prayer, but she wasn't going to meet her husband in her bedroom at midnight. She met God when she read Quran, but it wasn't like she could marry someone from the pages of a holy book. The message didn't make sense, yet it resonated in her soul with undeniable truth. Unable to shake this feeling, Amina decided to change her approach entirely. Instead of focusing her energy on searching for a spouse, she would focus on deepening her relationship with God and see what happened. It felt counterintuitive. Every relative and friend was telling her she needed to search more actively, not less, but she trusted the intuition that had spoken to her heart during prayer. She made a commitment. For the next 6 months, she would stop going to events primarily to find a husband. She would stop swiping through matrimonial apps. She would stop saying yes to setups just to please her mother. Instead, she would dedicate that time and energy to growing spiritually, attending Islamic classes she had been too busy for, volunteering at community service projects she had always wanted to join, spending more time in actual worship rather than just rushing through prayers. The first place Amina decided to go was a weekly Quran study circle for young professionals that met every Thursday evening at a community center. She had known about this circle for over a year but had never attended, always making excuses about being too busy or too tired after work. Now, with her new commitment, she made it a priority. The circle was smaller than she expected. Just 8 women of various ages sitting in a comfortable room. discussing the meanings of Quranic verses and how to apply them to modern life. The teacher was an elderly scholar named Sister Khadija, whose deep knowledge was matched only by her profound wisdom and kindness. For the first time in months, Amina felt her soul being nourished instead of drained. As weeks turned into months, Amina found herself transformed by her new focus. The Thursday circle became the highlight of her week. She began waking for Fajr prayer consistently, experiencing those quiet dawn moments of connection with God. She volunteered at a weekend program teaching underprivileged children, finding joy in service. She read Islamic books that expanded her understanding of faith, and slowly, the desperate loneliness that had driven her frantic search for a spouse began to ease, replaced by a contentment she hadn't known was possible. Her mother noticed the change but was frustrated by it. "You're wasting time, Amina. You're 27. You should be meeting potential husbands, not spending all your free time at the mosque and reading religious books. Do you want to end up alone?" "I'm not alone, Mama," Amina would reply gently. "I'm with God, and I trust that if marriage is meant for me, it will happen in His time, in His way." 6 months passed. Amina had completely forgotten her original motivation for this spiritual journey, so absorbed had she become in the actual growth and learning. The Thursday Quran circle had become like a second family to her, the women supporting each other through life's challenges with wisdom drawn from their shared faith. One Thursday evening, Sister Khadija made an announcement at the end of the session. "Next week we're opening the circle to brothers as well. We've had many requests from young men who want a similar learning environment, and we think having a mixed but properly organized session once a month will be beneficial. Men will sit on one side, women on the other, and we'll maintain proper Islamic etiquette throughout. I hope you'll all continue to attend." Some women looked uncertain about this change, but Amina found herself feeling completely neutral about it. Her intention in coming had nothing to do with meeting men. It was purely about learning, so this development didn't affect her motivation one way or another. The following Thursday, Amina arrived to find the seating arrangement changed. The women sat on one side of the room with a modest partition, creating a visual barrier while still allowing everyone to hear and participate in the discussion. On the other side of the partition, she could hear male voices as the brothers arrived and greeted each other. The class proceeded as normal, with Sister Khadija leading a discussion about the concept of tawakkul, reliance on God, and how to balance effort with trust in divine planning. During the discussion, one of the brothers on the other side of the partition asked a question that caught Amina's attention. "Sister Khadija," the voice said, and something in its tone conveyed both intelligence and humility. "How do we know when we're truly relying on God versus just being passive and calling it trust? Especially in major life decisions like choosing a career path or a life partner." Sister Khadija smiled. "An excellent question, Brother Ibrahim. The answer lies in understanding that tawakkul is not passivity. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told us to tie our camel and then trust in God. We must make sincere effort, use the intelligence God gave us, and take appropriate action. But after we've done our part, we release the outcome to God, trusting that He knows better than we do what's good for us. If we get what we worked for, alhamdulillah. If we get something different, we trust it's better for us, even if we can't see how." The discussion continued, with this brother Ibrahim contributing thoughtful questions and insights that revealed a deep understanding of faith combined with honest wrestling with how to apply it to real life. Amina found herself paying close attention to his comments, impressed by the depth of his thinking. After the class ended, Sister Khadija asked Amina to stay back for a moment to discuss a volunteer project. As they talked, the partition was being removed, and Amina caught her first glimpse of the brothers who had attended. Her eyes inadvertently met those of a man who was helping fold up the partition medium height. Simple appearance, but with eyes that radiated sincerity and kindness. He quickly lowered his gaze respectfully, and Amina did the same, but in that brief moment something had passed between them. A recognition of shared values, shared purpose, shared understanding of what truly mattered. Over the following months, the mixed sessions continued once monthly, and Amina found herself looking forward to them. Not because she was seeking romance, she had genuinely released that anxiety to God, but because the discussions were richer with diverse perspectives, and she particularly appreciated the thoughtful contributions from Brother Ibrahim, whose voice she now recognized immediately. They never spoke directly to each other, maintaining proper Islamic boundaries. But through the class discussions, through the questions they asked and the insights they shared, they came to know each other's minds, characters, and souls in a way that no coffee shop date or matrimonial profile could have revealed. One evening, about 4 months after the mixed sessions had begun, Sister Khadija asked Amina to remain after class once again. This time, her expression was different, purposeful, and somewhat knowing. Amina, dear, Sister Khadija began, I've been teaching for over 30 years, and I've developed something of a sense about these things. Brother Ibrahim has approached me asking about you, about your character, your faith, your family. He wants to know if you might be open to him contacting your family with a proposal for marriage. Amina's heart began racing. Brother Ibrahim, the one who always asks the thoughtful questions? Sister Khadija nodded, smiling. He's a doctor at the city hospital, comes from a good family, but more importantly, he has a beautiful character and sincere faith. I've known him for years. His parents attend my husband's classes. He told me he never thought he would meet someone in a religious class, that he had tried the conventional ways of searching for a wife, but nothing felt right. Then he started attending our circle, and he said he recognized in your contributions during discussions a depth of faith and understanding that he had been praying for in a life partner. But we've never even spoken directly, Amina said, her mind reeling. Exactly, Sister Khadija replied. You came to know each other's characters, minds, and priorities through the most appropriate lens, your shared commitment to understanding and practicing your faith. This is the best foundation for marriage. Now, shall I give him permission to contact your family? Amina sat in stunned silence, and then she began to cry. Not tears of sadness, but of overwhelming gratitude. She remembered that prayer 6 months ago when God had whispered to her heart that she would meet her life partner where she met him. She had been searching in coffee shops and through apps and at weddings, but God had been preparing something better. A meeting at the place of worship, at the place of learning, at the place where two souls seeking God would find each other. Yes, Amina whispered. Please tell him yes. The formal process unfolded in the proper Islamic way. Ibrahim contacted Amina's father, expressing his interest. The families met. Amina and Ibrahim had their first actual conversation in the presence of her family, discussing their expectations, their goals, their understanding of marriage as a partnership in faith. What struck Amina most powerfully was that Ibrahim said something almost identical to what she had felt all those months ago. "I had been searching in all the wrong places," Ibrahim explained to her family. "I tried matrimonial apps and family connections, but no one felt right. Then one night I prayed and asked God to guide me to my wife in His way, not in the way society dictates. I felt in my heart that I should stop searching and instead focus on becoming the kind of man worthy of a righteous wife. I started attending the Quran circle to deepen my understanding of faith. I never went there looking for marriage. But then I heard Amina's voice asking questions and sharing insights during the discussions, and I recognized something. It wasn't attraction to her appearance. I couldn't even see her properly with the partition. It was recognition of a shared soul, someone who was seeking God the same way I was." The engagement was announced 3 months later, and they were married in a simple ceremony surrounded by family and the community that had brought them together. On their wedding night, before anything else, they prayed together, thanking God for the miraculous way He had brought them together. "Do you remember," Amina said to her husband as they sat together after the prayer, "when Sister Khadija taught us about tawakkul, about making effort but releasing the outcome to God?" Ibrahim nodded. "I think our entire story is about that," Amina continued. "We both made effort. We both went searching for a spouse in the conventional ways, but nothing worked until we released the outcome to God and instead focused on seeking Him. And then He brought us together at the very place where we were seeking Him." Years later, when they had children of their own, Amina and Ibrahim would tell them this story. They would explain that while people might meet their life partners at weddings, at work, through family connections, or even through matrimonial apps, the real place you meet your life partner is in your relationship with God. "You meet your life partner where you meet God," Amina would tell her daughters, "because that's where you become the person. God is preparing for your spouse, and that's where your spouse becomes the person God is preparing for you. The physical location might be a mosque, a religious class, a volunteer project, or anywhere else where people gather in sincere worship and service. But the real meeting place is in the transformation that happens when you prioritize your relationship with God above your desperation for a relationship with another person." Ibrahim would add, "Your mother and I could have sat in the same coffee shop 100 times and never truly seen each other. But in the Quran circle, where we came with humble hearts seeking knowledge and closeness to God, we recognized each other's souls. That recognition is worth more than 1,000 superficial attractions based on appearance or status." This is the truth that young people need to understand. You are going to meet your life partner at the place where you meet God. Not necessarily at a mosque or Islamic center though. It might be, but at the place in your heart and life where you prioritize your relationship with your Creator above everything else. When you stop desperately searching and instead focus on becoming the best version of yourself through faith. When you spend your energy on worship and service instead of endless swiping and dating, when you trust God's timing instead of panicking about society's timeline, that's when the miracle happens. God brings together souls that are seeking Him, and He does it in ways you could never orchestrate yourself. The person meant for you might be in the same Quran class, at the same volunteer project, at the same prayer gathering. Or they might be somewhere completely unexpected. But what will unite you won't be physical proximity. It will be spiritual alignment. Two hearts that have individually found God and are now ready to help each other continue that journey together. So if you're tired of searching in all the wrong places, if every attempt to find a spouse has left you disappointed, if you're wondering where your life partner is, here's the answer. They're waiting for you at the place where you meet God. Go there first. Become who you're meant to be first. Build your relationship with your Creator first. And trust that when the time is right, God will write your love story in a way more beautiful than anything you could have planned yourself.